I just looked at the clock and realized that we're running a little bit tight on time here, guys. I feel like we probably should have made this a 3-hour episode. There's lots to talk about, and you guys are fantastic. But let me stop right now before we get into sort of next steps and ask you, what haven't I asked you? If I were doing a better job here about the partnership, the relationship, where it stands right now. What part of the story are we missing? What haven't I asked you that I should have? Or did I do such a bang up job that we're like?
I mean, Matt, it was an amazing job you did. Let me just say, I mean, I guess, but
everything that comes before the but is a lie, they say.
That's why I did. That's why I said, did I say what? I mean, I think what's interesting for me for next steps in life cycle of CTMC is what comes after positive first in human results, and how do we enable patients, or how do we enable partners to move to the next stages of development, most efficiently. And our approach to that is to basically provide optionality. So one of the reasons I didn't quite get a chance to mention this early on, but we almost 2 years ago, we spun out from being part of MD Anderson into a joint venture that's a 50-50 joint venture between MD Anderson and National Resilience. And so Resilience is a really innovative, ambitious company trying to revolutionize complex biologics manufacturing and has cell therapy capabilities. And so we enable an on-ramp to Resilience. We enable, if partners want to build internal capabilities, we would help them design and tech transfer to their own facility. Or we also have capabilities in the facility to carry out late stage and perhaps one day even launch products. So I think it's an important thing to understand that we've really thought about this. We don't want it to be a dead end, like, oh, wow, this is amazing. You get to see that your product, like we've talked about a few times, declares itself. It's a fantastic product. And then we're stuck and have to reverse out of a dead end and go somewhere else. We've really thought a lot about that. As the partnerships mature that we have and they get to more mid-stage trials, we'll be able to showcase some more of how we thought about that as well.
Yeah. One thing I failed to ask, and I think we briefly touched on this the last time we all chatted, was sort of the win together, lose together elements of the partnership, and I don't remember exactly what the details were there, but is there some element of like, hey, if KSQ wins, CTMC wins beyond just winning for the patient from a business perspective, and if KSQ loses, we're going to lose a little bit too. We got skin in the game.
Well, I think,
am I making that up, or was that a real part of this conversation?
I don't know if we talked about it, but I agree with it. I mean, aligned incentives in our collaboration drive all the right behaviors. But there's really not a lot that feels transactional about the collaboration that we have. And I think the result of that mindset is that when something unexpected happens, and we talked about this, the unexpected things are going to happen. The first and really only questions that we focus on are what's the right thing to do here for the long-term interest of the program. And I think that it's amazing how fast you can go together when you don't necessarily let other things get in the way.
Yeah.
It enables it reinforces that kind of culture that we talked about and that trust that, if it's just human nature. If you're incentivized to do more services and you say, hey, I really think we should do more services when we have this problem, it's only natural for the partner to say, do they really think that, or do they just want to charge us more fees? But here, we align things so that, if we didn't bring the first product to IND, we would have honestly lost money on the collaboration. So we would have been, in the hole. And That's okay. I'm fine. Like, we looked at everything that KSQ had. We felt really confident that we could help accelerate them get into the clinic. And so we put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, not having like intimate knowledge of all sorts of outsourced manufacturing partner relationships. That sounds pretty unique to me. Tom, is that pretty unique?
I think you can craft there are an infinite number of ways to craft an agreement. I think Jason has gone all in. Jason and his team have gone really all in on that model. And it's driven the cultural and scientific and collaboration things that we've been talking about for the last hour.
Yeah. Super cool. All right. Like I said, I got to wrap things up. We're going to have to do a part 2 if there's more to talk about. And there will be more to talk about regardless, because, this project has got a long way to run. So we will. Well, I'm going to put you on the hook to do a part 2.
Matt, just to say, because you gave that lead in, I know we're super at time.
Yeah.
But that's the neat thing about autologous cell therapy too, or at least the difference too. Unlike antibodies, like these partnerships, you're together every step of the way. Every single patient is a new patient comes in, more manufacturing has to be done. So it's like an ongoing relationship. Unlike an antibody where you work with a CMO, they make a big batch, and then you don't talk to them for 3 years as you run your clinical study. And maybe you call them up 2 years from now, like, hey, we need another batch. Can you make one? So it's a very different relationship. And it's just important to recognize those differences. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'll let you.
That's good, Jason. No, you're more than welcome. It's your time. I mean, I know you've got things to do this afternoon.
I gotta go do some work for Tom, I think, but
you're giving me your time. Yeah, that's a great segue. Work for Tom. What's that work entail in the immediate future? Like what's on your near-term horizon in terms of next steps or big projects between the two of you?
Well, I can start. I think that we're really excited about things both in the near term and long term. For starters, we talked about the platform earlier on. There's more that our platform can reveal about potential targets. We're not done. I think also out there on the horizon, as we start to build a clinical data set for our existing candidates, 001EX and 004EX, there are some really powerful correlative analyses that we can do to feed back into the process and improve our process and potentially even guide future clinical development. So that's way out there. But if we think even more near term, we're excited to be able to move both 001EX and eventually 004EX into the clinic. And for that lead candidate, 001, that first engineered TIL therapy that's already had its IND cleared, up next for us is clinical enrollment and data readouts. And we feel like with Jason's team, we've de-risked it as much as we can. We've controlled what we can control. The team at KSQ has been fantastic. The team at CTMC has been fantastic. And we're now ready to execute. And as patients enroll and clinical outcomes start to become available, I think you, me, clinicians at MD Anderson, and patients from all around the country and researchers around the globe, for that matter, are going to see what we see. So stay tuned. And I think the next chapter might be a pretty exciting part of the story.
Yeah.
Tom said that so well. And if we even zoom out further, KSQ has developed, some of the leading, what I would call like second generation optimized TILs. TILs as a field is at a super exciting stage. I won't unpack that whole thing, but we know that Iovance had the first commercial TIL approved a couple months ago. These are the first cell therapies approved for solid tumors. TILs have the ability to work in multiple tumor types and indications. Solid tumors represent 90% of all cancers. So KSQ is like in a amazing catbird seat, I think, of having a really fantastic technology, having a solid manufacturing and clinical setup to evaluate the real power of these next generation TILs.
Yeah. You mentioned Iovance, episode 78 of the Business Biotech podcast. There's a shameless plug here, featured Sumit Verma and Audrey Greenberg. Dug into this is back in 2021. You might say that we gave them a platform, for their approval.
Nice.
Not to pat myself on the
Okay.
side, but.
So 2021, so 3 years. So we'll start the clock for KSQ approval.
Jason, I was thinking exactly the same thing. Like,
this is a good place to be. We have not yet determined, we're 200 plus episodes into this podcast. We have not yet determined a Sports Illustrated cover curse yet. I think we're doing more good than harm. So
yeah, let's flip that around, and like all the good things that have come from the companies you've talked to.
Tom, the next chapter that you reference, I'm looking forward to covering it. And I do mean it. I'd love to have you guys back a little bit down the road to talk about further progress and more benefits of the collaboration and partnership down there. But for now, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You're both fantastic. I appreciate the time that you spent with us, the great insight, the transparent insight into the relationship. And I think we probably made a whole lot of people out there mad about their current partnership situation. So we'll call that a job well done.
It's been a pleasure.
If we can help people figure out ways of accelerating cell therapies, that would be fantastic. So Matt, thanks for giving us the platform, and thanks for the discussion. I really enjoyed it.
Look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, we will. Thanks, guys.